how do you manage the scalability of MLOps projects?
So in that case of scalability, we figure out basically a few years ago, some companies were basically doing everything together. When you think of the life cycle, you have data, model deployment. They were actually doing a bad practice that was everything in one server and everything scaled together or not. A recommendation that we clearly basically see in the market and we recommend is to isolate the data part from the model part, from the deployment part. Because, for example, you can have a use case with a lot of data. So you have to do a lot of data preprocessing. So you should be able to scale data. But maybe in that use case, the model part is very small. It's a simple model. And then
Yeah.
you don't have a huge server that scales for the model. Or could be vice versa. Maybe you have a small data set in the use case, but you need to use a very fancy model because it's a long solo main that requires big models. Also, in the case of deployment, you should be able to scale deployment independent from the other two because you could have a lot of requests, for example, from the users, millions and so on. So you should be able to
Mhm.
scale the deployment servers so that you can fulfill, basically respond all the requests. So the best practice would be try to basically scale independently in each of the part of the life.
Mhm. And with the scalability, do you look like, say, do you predict 5 years, 10 years in advance, or even further?
Repeat, please.
Sorry, my English accent. So within sort of like predicting the scalability in, say, in the future, what do you tend to look for? Do you look like 5 years, 10 years in advance, or is it more aligned to the project?
Yeah, I think I didn't grasp the question fully. So you're thinking about scalability in the
Yeah,
next.
how do you predict the future like scalability?
That's a really hard question.
Yeah,
So really, yeah, that's a tricky one in that sense because of course the data is getting year by year bigger,
yeah.
models as well. So you should be able also in the infrastructure layer to catch up with all these new developments, right? But I think in general, quite likely some of the steps will be commoditized in the future because you see more and more tools taking care of this and for you. So you have some managed services, even in the cloud and also on-prem. I would say at some point this scalability issue would be a commodity for the MLOps engineers.